Welcome back. Last time we caught our first Pokemon, and really we started our journey into Pokemon Picross. We were rewarded with some Picross to begin our journey with. So let's continue on from where we were before. Now, we aren't being given any more instructions by Professor Tetra, and we can see our Eevee is out of stamina, so I'm going to swap Eevee out for Poochyena here. Now, let's dive straight into the next one. We don't know what it is, but we can see it's 10 by 10, and if we swap over to the challenges, we can see clear in 5 minutes, set Dark Pokemon, use Scatter Reveal, and complete all missions. Now, this should be very easy, because the Pokemon we received is a Dark type, Poochyena, and its ability just so happens to be Scatter Reveal, so let's dive straight in. Okay, straight off the bat there, we can see Professor Tetra has told us there is a timer that we need to allow to refill. It's a cooldown timer. It's something they introduced into the game to, well, let's put it bluntly, they want you to make a microtransaction in order to pay for more playtime. But in reality, it doesn't hurt too much to take a break from the game. Now, as part of this level, they required a scatter skill to be used, so we've done that. It hasn't revealed a great deal, and as you can see, unfortunately, it's landed 1 in this row, which was an easy row anyway, but it helps a little bit, and every little does help. So let's fill in this row here, because we know it's 10. We can use Edge Power here on this one to say there's a group of 3. That's easy enough. Here we've got a big number. We can use a 1 and a 7, so we count 7 up from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unfortunately, we filled that node in, but we can count backwards to here. That's 1 more than we would have got anyway. Same for here. We can count backwards 5 spaces to here. This row has an 8. Let's fill in the correct nodes for that one. And because we've already filled in past there, we can say we can't place an 8 here. This row needs a 6, and because it's one group, we can do start by doing the overlap, and then we can fill in this one. We can mark these off because the 6 can't reach that far. This column now has, we can see a group of 2 and a 3. Well, the 2 could be placed anywhere along these 4. We don't know yet, but at least this one we can do an overlap, and then we can use the edge tool for that. Now we can do the 5 overlap for the remaining. This one has an 8 overlap, and we can see it creates one large group already, and we can't go as far as that, so we can take that one off. We can see further revealed that the 6 overlap reaches this far. We don't know yet whether this is meant to be a group of 5 or this is a 1 and then a group of 5, so we have to leave that alone. But we do know here there's only meant to be 1s in this row, so we can mark that one off. That helps us with this column with the 3 groups, a 2 and a 2 and a 3. We'll fill out the 3 first, we'll finish off the 2, and then finalise with the 2. This row then has 2 groups of 2. Well, we can't place any markers here or here, but we can fill out this group at least, and that allows us to take off the 1 in this column. Just like the row below it, this one only has 1s, so we can mark that, and because of that we can see where the 8 is meant to be. Now let's try the overlapping rule for the 3 and the 4. Let's count 3 across, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we've got that. And then let's count back 4, and then 1, 2, 3. Well, that's as much as we can fill out there for now. But that at least has allowed us to fill out the group of 3, and then figure out where the group of 2 is meant to be. And we can see we can fill out the 3 as well, and finish off this row. There's a 1 in this row only, and this row only, so there we go. And now we can see here a group of 5 and a group of 1, so let's fill those in. Fantastic. Now this row isn't meant to have any groups of 3. If we placed anything here, we'd have a group of 3, so we have to divide that, and we can see that finishes off 2 1s for us. Now this row also needs a 1, which we don't know where to put it there, but at least we know where we can place the 2, so let's do that now. this column needs a group of 2 and a 3. Well, we've already got 2 marked in there, but we couldn't possibly place a 3, so this has to be the 3, and it can only reach as far as here, so let's mark that. And as for the 2, well, that's easy enough. And we can block those off because this row again, only 1's here. We can now finish this column with our 1 and the 5. We can finish this grouping of 4 and separate it, and we know where the 3 is meant to be and finish that. We now know where the 3 is for this column, so let's go ahead and do the 3, and we also know where the overlap for the 2 is, which finishes this row. What do we have left to do? Well, we've got this row with a 2 and a 3 to figure out where they go, and that's, again, straightforward enough. That finishes off this column. We now know where to place the 5. That finishes off this column. We now know where to place the 8, the 5, and the 1, and lastly, the 1. We've managed to complete the puzzle in under 5 minutes using only the scatter reveal skill. That allows us to catch Oddish. And because we've completed all of the tasks in one sitting, we've got the maximum number of 6 Picross. So let's go out to the map and see what's next. And as always, Professor Tetra is being very generous. Don't expect it for too much longer, but she's given us another 30 Picross just for completing level 2. There's another gift of 50 Picross, and she's encouraging us now to spend those Picross to extend the points in the gauge. So we're doubling it from a maximum of 100 to 200. So let's do that now. Spend those 50 Picross, and you can see our gauge has been doubled and also entirely refilled too. So let's dive into the final level in this area of the world, Area 01. Now I'll admit I jumped the gun a bit there and didn't pay attention to which missions I can fulfill here, and I did just use the scatter reveal, but because I've already paid the energy to start this level, I'm just going to continue on through. I can't do anything about changing which Pokemon I have to add Oddish to my roster, but I can always come back another time and complete this level, so let's just dive straight in. We'll start with the top row here. We can see there's a large number of 8. And we can fill in, we now know this one's complete, and we can use the edge rule to finish these off. This row needs a group of a 3 and a 1, while the 1 has to be there somewhere, so let's fill in the 3. And because we put 1 here and we know there's a single group of 6, we can at least count up 6 here, and then exclude those from the possibilities. We've got a large number here, we can count the 8 across, and then because this has been filled in with a blank, we can move over 1 further to that. This row needs a 3 in it somewhere, so we can count up from the bottom 3 places for this overlap. And this row, of course, can only take 1s. Using the edge tool, we can finish off those 2 there. And what's next? Well, we've got a group of a 2 and a 3 somewhere in here. Well, the 2 could occupy any of these positions, but the 3 has to go here. There's nowhere else for it to go. And if we look at this row here, we've got 4 groups, 2 and 3 1s. So if you look at the right hand side, well, the 1 could be anywhere there. So let's ignore that for the time being. There could be a 1 here, a 1 here, and then a 2 here. Well, those are certainties because that's the bare minimum that those could be placed in. So let's fill those now and see how that looks. So you can see, with those filled in, the only left uncertainty is the 1, which could be placed at either of those 2 positions. We'll leave that for now and come back to it later. We can see that that group of 2 is complete. This entire column is complete. And we can mark off that using the edge rule, and that allows us to complete the row with 8 in. This column is only meant to have a 1 to start off with, so we'll mark that off, and that allows us to solve this row. With that, we can say the 2 is complete, and we can finish this row as well. We'll mark that one off in this column, and this 1 is complete as well. The 3 has been completed in this column. And on this row, there's meant to be a 2, and that finishes that. Now this column needs a 2 in it somewhere. It could be either this position or this position, but it can't be here. And this column needs a 1 and then a 2. Well, we can't place the 2 there, but we can place the 2 here. We don't know where the 1 is meant to be just yet, so we'll ignore that. But we can say on these rows at least, it starts with a 1. So we'll mark those off, and that allows us to solve this column here. That's solved this row and this column for us. That's solved that row, and all that's left to do is fill in these 2 rows here, a 1 and a 3, and then another 1 and a 3. We can mark that column off, finish this column, and our final marker is here. Now, because I didn't assign a grass Pokemon to my roster, I didn't get the pick right rewards for these 2 challenges, the set a grass type Pokemon and complete all challenges at the same time. I'll come back and do that at another point in time, but for now let's just move on. And with that, we have run 10 minutes, so I'm going to leave it there for the day. But thanks again for joining me, and next time I'll revisit this one and complete it with the grass Pokemon in our team. So thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you again in the future.